And we're live. We're finally here after quite a substantial break because there's been a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot has happened in that time.
Exactly. You had an operation, and I went abroad for a week with a recalcitrant teenager and a husband. So yeah, strange times.
Was it sunny when you were abroad?
It didn't
Like,
start off that way, but it got better. Yeah,
oh,
we actually had some lovely weather, which was quite nice. But a city break with the teenager doesn't always work terribly well. We discovered, but hey ho, you live and learn.
yeah. Yeah.
And how have you been, Lainie? More
Um,
importantly,
well, at the minute I have cold, but I'm all right. Yeah, my stomach. The operation was relatively easy, if touch wood is a thing. Yeah, um, and a lot went really well you know what I mean, like I was actually pretty calm. I think I said that. I wasn't sure if I said this to you. I was pretty calm until the anaesthetist made me feel like nervous, because he was acting very nervous, like he kept rubbing
yeah,
his head. He was, yeah, so he made me stressed, but up until that point I was quite calm, and thankfully he wasn't the only anaesthetist. There was two, him and another guy. And so when I actually went down, and he was much better, the other one, like he was, yeah. But obviously I went back into hospital because I thought there was some sort of an issue, because I had a really sharp pain in my side that was like radiating out. um and because it was like 6 days after, I was thinking, oh no, done something or whatever,
mm,
something's not right. And the pain got progressively worse. So I went in and stayed in for a couple of days. Had a bit of a um, issue in that I, because of my size, I couldn't go in the machine, the
oh,
CT.
what like the CT scanner?
Yeah,
Mm.
so I was supposed to have a CT scan to have a look to see if everything was okay, and the they admitted us, put us on a ward, said I would get the CT scan within the night, like in the night at some point. I
Mm.
got woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. There was two porters, four nurses, because I'd have to be pat slided across onto the CT scanner. So they sent two porters, four nurses. Um, got there, and um, I couldn't. I got there, and the lady who worked in there, the radiographer or whoever she was, said, "Oh, I don't think you're going to fit in the machine." So she got like
Oh,
some, which was like tubing thing, because she didn't have like a tape measure or whatever. So she used tubing to
God.
measure round me at my widest point, which, because I've got lymphedema and lipedema,
Yes.
means I do hold a lot of fluid and inflammation and stuff. So she measured me at my widest point and put it across the machine, and like there was no way that I was going in there. So yeah, that felt really shit, for
Yeah,
want
you
of a
didn't
better
need
word.
that. That's
No,
horrible.
it's frustrating because, yes, I know I'm big. Yes, I know, like, there's issues around that that's caused that weight gain over time. But also, I have these issues with uh, my lipedema and lymphedema, and I don't think that even if I lost the weight and was just left with those issues, that I would have fit in the machine. So my point is that these machines need to be updated so that it covers everybody, because
Yeah.
when you go there and I already have issues around ambulance or whatever, so I already feel
Mm.
crap. You know what I mean? And I just want to feel normal. I just want to have like someone say, "Oh, you need this and this to happen," and it not be some sort of issue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
because it's like say it's an obstacle to accessing
yeah,
what you need,
I
and
didn't get upset about it. And I mean, the porter, like, bless him, he was lovely, and he it's not your fault. He was like, it's not your fault, but you can't help but think of that. You know what I mean? And they all left, and they were like, "Are you all right? You all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I like obviously waited till they'd all gone, and then busted in tears, as you do.
Of course, as
And
you
then
do.
the porter came back, and just he wanted to see if I was okay. Bless him. So that was nice, but yeah, it's just things like that. You know, my district nurse used to say to me, she said, "It's not it's they're at fault, not you. They're at fault. Everything, it should be inclusive for everybody, no matter of their size, weight, height, whatever. Do you know what I mean?" So yeah,
nobody needs to be made to feel any worse than they currently do.
Well, that's it. And
anyway,
like the old me, like would have, although I still got a bit upset, the old me would have focused on that, and it would have took me in a downward spiral of like really negative things, and I probably wouldn't have helped myself within that time. I would have just switched off, and so yeah.
Yeah, so you're dealing with it differently, or
Oh yeah, I deal with it differently, but like I said, and it makes us think to myself, like if the old me had managed to get to that situation where I actually got to there's and that had happened, I would have like what I would have wanted the ground to swallow me whole. I would have I mean, all the staff obviously felt awful, but no one seemed to be aware of that prior. And that's what I mean, is if these machines, because I had an MRI, but I couldn't have an MRI at my hospital. I had to go to a private hospital that the NHS paid for. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, well, why not just have that have the same MRI machine that covers everybody in your hospital, rather than like you then send someone off? Do you know what I mean? It just
it does seem ridiculous. And the thing is, stuff like that hurts, and hurt feelings are should be considered as important as anything medical, because they affect how your body's going to react and how you're going to progress and get better.
Yeah, because like people say, oh, when you are like that and you do have those negative thoughts of yourself, then that just makes it all a lot worse.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's not going to help. It's not going to encourage you to do the right things for yourself, and to we were talking a little earlier about sort of weight loss and stuff. All the motivation for that is going to go out the window if emotionally you're bruised and in need of the comfort that quite often food
that makes you feel better. Yeah, and that's the thing as well. It's like you go straight to that comfort, and then it becomes a vicious circle, because you're like, immediately blame yourself again because you couldn't cope and you went straight for the thing that causes you issue. And I remember loads of times when I was younger and being bigger, and everything was round the weight. It was always like, if only I lost weight, if only everything would be different. Life's not like that. I mean,
life isn't different.
No, it isn't. It isn't, and it's definitely more about changing the way you think.
It is the thought patterns, and not beating yourself up at every turn, which is where an awful lot of this will stem from. Is that feeling that somehow you're wrong and the rest of the world is right, and nothing, especially when it becomes hopeless. It's a horrible place to be. It's and that's when I just wish that there was more help around for people earlier. So that they wouldn't have to go through some of the things that you've been through, that they wouldn't have to go through some of the things that other people have had to get to the absolute end of their tethers before there's been any intervention or any help. You have to fight to get the help, and I think most of the people who need it the most aren't in a good position to fight. They haven't got the strength left a lot of the time.
Well, it isn't, especially when you go on a negative with yourself. There's no way you'll be fighting you know what I mean, because you'll be blaming yourself, so you don't want to bring attention to that any more than there already is.
So you're fighting yourself, aren't you? That's the thing, is there's
the only fighting that'll ever go on.
Yeah.
after that, you wouldn't then go, well, this is disgraceful. This shouldn't be like this. You would be
No.
like, oh my God, that's like that because I'm so abnormal and I'm so weird
Yeah.
and I'm so whatever. And that
Mm.
becomes just a spiral of self-hate, really. And
Yeah.
it's, and I used to go on these and they would last months and months and months, like these spirals that I used to go down. And yeah, it was hard to get back out, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you got back out is amazing, but it's sort of so much easier to go down there than it is to kind of come back up.
Yeah,
You need lots, everyone needs support, and being on, feeling that you're on your own or you can't share something or you feel you shouldn't. It's so complicated. It truly is.
definitely, definitely. So, I mean, other than your bit of rain and your bit of teenage angst, I think you said.
Well, it wasn't my.
Well, not yours, but
Yeah, it was still nice to have a holiday, but we haven't, people in this country have not holidayed for a very long time. I don't know if people in the chat or in the audience feel the same, but there was this whole thing of how amazing to go on holiday, and I'd kind of gently forgotten the sheer work involved in organising a holiday for yourself and everybody else, trying to please everyone. The tickets, the passports, the COVID passports, the insurance, the trying to make sure that my work is ahead of itself so that I can go away. And I was exhausted. The problem is you're exhausted when you get there. And then you kind of think, why did I do all that? Because it's not quite as much fun as it should be or could be, or maybe expectations were too high. And then before you know it, you're coming home again to a shed load of work, a shed load of washing, and thinking, I'm not sure I can really be bothered to keep doing that.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like a holiday, really, does it, when you put it like that?
No, I mean, it's a nice few days kind of eating and drinking and a lot of walking, because Brussels is a very big town.
Yeah.
And it took us a while to get the hang of the trams, to be fair. That was caused quite a bit of disgruntlement.
Charity shops or things there?
I did go to an enormous flea market. It was lovely. So I don't know what the light's doing here. If I go over here, it's dark, and if I go over here, we've got sunset. But I went to the biggest flea market, and it was wonderful because I went on my own. I kind of snuck out and said, I'll see you later. Yeah. So that was liberation for me. That's like, yes, I'm happy now. Yeah. Telling, isn't it? But yeah, and I had a mooch about, and I bought a few bits of jewellery, and I bought some clothes and brought them back with me, so they will be appearing in my site soon. So yeah, I enjoy that bit of it. I could do that a lot more, but you can't. I wouldn't drag other people around the charity shops who don't have the same bit that I do. I'm not silly to think that a teenager and a fellow are going to enjoy that.
No, but I suppose you it was nice that you got that time yourself to be able to go and do that. Although I'm sure, given the chance, you would have gone every day.
Well, maybe not every day, but I would have explored in a some way. But it's just one of those things where you're trying to compromise, and I'm not very good at compromise.
I don't think any of us are, because we all want to do what we want to do, don't we? At the end of the day, and and especially when you're in a family with very different. You've obviously got similar things you enjoy, but also very different things that you enjoy as well.
Yeah,
to make everybody happy in that sense is hard, isn't it?
But the fact that it was interesting, because as I thought about it, the psychology of it all, I thought, well, why am I responsible for everyone else's happiness? It's not my job.
Well, you're not, no.
So it's that's when I kind of thought, you know what, I'm going to go over here. You do what you want. We'll meet up later. So yes.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan.
Oh, Jewel is in. Hello, Jewelry Sales. I know there's a few people watching and you're talking to us. Do come and say hello. We don't fight.
We don't. No, we don't.
No, not often, anyway.
Yeah, we've had a bit of time off, so we kind of like, what was the subject? What were we still doing?
Where were we?
We were still kind of a bit like, We'll just see what happens.
Well, exactly. And I mean, really, as I think, as we'd said in the last one, so much of everything comes back down to mental health and how you're feeling. So things like having your feelings incredibly trampled on in a situation that maybe could have been handled better by them, is one that has an impact. You know, these little things do add up, and they're important. And like you say, you get someone who's kind to you, like a porter, and it often is actually the porters and the people who are really keeping that place running that have the right attitude. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The thing is, of course, I've come back off of holiday, and I was so busy before I went because I can't believe how busy I get. It is ridiculous. Literally everything mapped out that I'm doing, and of course I come straight back into it. And it's like June, the whole of June is like, holy cow, hold on. It's like there's so much going on. I'm doing drumming shows, I've got boot fairs, and it's like, oh, please. I feel like I need a holiday.
From the one you've
A real
just
one. A real one.
Have you got anything else planned? Any other breaks or whatever?
Not really, no. Well, not breaks as such. I'm doing things like I'm going to a concert, going to see Adam the Ants with my very good friend Becky and Hans.
Oh, very nice.
We're going to see him in Guildford. I think that's in about a week or so's time. Fantastic, great fun. So that's a night off. And I think I'm actually going to a very good friend of ours is having hand fasting, which is like a pagan wedding out in the woods, and we're all camping. And
I've seen that.
yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. But that'll be me being away for a couple of nights because it's just me that's going to that. And then there's another hand fasting that's happening later in the year, so there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I haven't been on holiday for years.
You're all right there, lovely. Someone gone down the wrong way. Yeah.
No, it's just my throat. Tickling cough. I'll take a drink.
Good. You got one there. Hello, Junie. Nice to see you. We're back in the room.
Right. That is the water in it.
Oh yeah, I know. When it makes you cry, doesn't it? Sometimes it makes you just
and
you can't breathe. Horrible coughs.
Just want to say congratulations to Junie. I'm not going to say why because she might not want everyone to know, but I'm just going to say congrats to her. Who knows why?
I'll pass mine along as well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I haven't been on holiday since my kids were little, is what I was saying.
Yeah.
And when I was first losing weight, like one of my friends, she was like, right, if you look for places you can go on holiday, I'm like, there isn't anywhere. It's awful to say, but there just isn't. Like, even like the disabled places are not cater. They just don't cater for me because I'm like, again, that bit extra, that bit further. You know what I mean? And then how do I get there? And then even if I do get there,
you've got to move around.
Without Robo Bitch, if I can't take the wheelchair, I can't go anywhere. Like when I get there, then it's like because I've got a hoist it's fixed to my wall, so like you know, and you can get like movable ones, but they're not suitable for me, so it would have to be a fixed hoist place, and I think the stress of it would just be way too much. Like, you know what I mean? So that I just haven't bothered. And it would be nice, but I just haven't bothered because I'd just be too stressed, I think. So I just gave up on the idea, essentially.
It's so much to organise. I mean, above and beyond the normal things you'd have to organise, there's so many things you'd need to be in place that depend on other people doing what they're meant to do. And currently, as I keep hearing, that doesn't happen. I mean, like that poor woman who was left on a plane for an hour and a half in her wheelchair, and they didn't get her off. Now, All
Yeah.
right, she didn't have the extra, as you were saying, but I mean, nonetheless, how can you treat somebody like that? Shocking. And they promised to help. She booked in help. It was all meant to be happening. So yeah, I can see why that anyone with that kind of situation is going to be thinking, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that.
But like the last time I went away must be 23 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, Laura was about 2.5, 3. Stuart was about 5, and I went down on the train. And it was funny because like I'd never been away before. My parents came to Newcastle station to see me off. Like I was going, you know what I
Oh,
mean, away. So like for a long time, I was just going
bye-bye.
week, yeah. And as the train was moving out, because it was just me and the 2 kids, and I had a pushchair, a big hold all.
Yeah, there's a lot of luggage goes with small children, isn't there?
Yeah, and then 2 backpacks, a big hold on, my own bag, and the kids had a little bag with like colourings in and things. Plus, I had Laura's pushchair with me because it was just um, easier. And as the train started pulling away out of Newcastle, I was so tempted just to pull the emergency brake and freak out and like just get no, I'm getting off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got into
You didn't.
Newcastle. And we got into London, King's Cross, and I think the first thing I remember was I was supposed to be met by a porter to help me because I had like bags and stuff and I'd booked all this. This didn't happen.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get, 2 kids, 5 and under off a train in a place I have no clue where I am.
Yeah.
And everyone was going one way, so I was kind of like, oh, well, I'll just go that way and hope.
Hope that that's the way out. They're not going to the underground. Yeah.
So I followed them all up that way, gets to the top, and had because like when you're in your own town or your own city or whatever, you don't notice people talking around you because they sound like you, so it just all blends.
No.
Yeah, when you're in a place where you don't know, like London, all I could hear was the accent was just popping out all over this Cockney accent type of thing.
Like EastEnders.
And I seen a taxi thing, so I went there, and I got a taxi to. I think it was Victoria, but I'm not sure because we'll go to my friend. She lived in Margate, so we'll go to Margate. Yeah,
That's a long way, quite away from London, that is.
yeah. Well, obviously we had to come through London, and
Wow.
I remember the taxi cost us £8, and I remember like wanting to point out the palace to David and say, "Oh, look, there's where the Queen lives," but I wasn't sure because like.
Yeah.
I realised when we come round the corner that it was, but by this time it was going away in the distance. But I didn't want to say anything in case, like, the taxi driver was like, "Nah, love, that's just something building or other." And I was like, "That's my best Cockney now."
I do like your Cockney accent.
That's it. So yeah, it just I was too scared to say anything just in case I was wrong. So yeah, I didn't.
Oh.
But yeah, it was quite stressful. My friend met me at like Margate. My mum thought they were coming to Newcastle to London to see me off. I had to lie to her at the time. She would, I think she, even though I was like 20, even though I was 20 odd, she probably would have said, "Right, you can't go."
Forbidden.
Yeah.
Yeah, Margaret's quite a good place, especially with kids.
Yeah.
Ah, and we got Julie said, here we go. There we go. Yeah, she's agreeing. Very little that's disabled friendly in any format. There's always accessibility issues. There's always some reason. There's always something in the way stuff's built, unless it's a new bit newly built, and even then they don't do it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And accessible rooms, normally they just imply it's a room on the ground floor, which doesn't necessarily make it particularly accessible.
Exactly.
Quite right, Junie. Absolutely. Oh, Jules said you need the holiday to come to you, like a meet-up in your area.
Well, I'm planning my 50th birthday, which is like 3 years away this month.
Oh,
I'm gonna have like some sort of big party, I think. So I'll just invite you all up.
wow.
You can come.
That'll be me coming up in a camper van over a couple of days, that will.
Why not?
It's a long way. Well, I'm about as far away as you were from Margate. So it's
Yeah.
literally, yeah.
No, but I mean, obviously, it'd be best to make a long end of it, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I'd have to, I think, to travel all that way because you're very nearly in Scotland.
I am.
That's what we think down here. It's like, that's bloody nearly Scotland.
Because I was saying to Nick, there's quite a few charity shops. I'm trying to think of the name.
Good one.
So like, if it's a weekend, there'll be 2 car boots. Is a Sunday and Saturday and Sunday.
Ooh,
Car boot. So
wow.
yeah, and they're not stupid. Like most of them, they don't start till 10 o'clock up here. So
That's very civilized.
isn't it?
We've got one that does that. It calls itself an afternoon boot fair, but it actually does start up at about 10:30. So,
Yeah, well, I think you can do that thing where you pay extra to go in
yeah.
early or whatever. And I think it's actually 10 o'clock for the sellers. And I think you go in with the sellers if you pay early.
Well, exactly, because what I do is I take my friend up there because she sets up the stall. I sling all her stuff in the back of the van. She set up a stall, and then I go off on a wander around, and she starts selling her stuff because she can't drive, so she can't get to any of these things. So it works out quite well. Yeah,
Definitely.
So yes, maybe a meetup. That would be lovely. It's not a part of the world. I've actually been through Newcastle many years ago, which was literally my honeymoon. We're talking a long time ago now because my son's 15, so it was 16 years ago. And we came up on the train through Newcastle on the way to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
We stayed in Scotland and hired a car and drove all over Scotland, which is quite cool.
You'll have come through Sunderland as well then.
I think I do remember travelling. Actually, no, it was about 3 years ago. Also, I did it when I came on the train up for a certain meetup of witchy types that happened to be in Scotland that year, and also came through Newcastle on the way. It was amazing because it was really hot and sunny down here, and we had a really hot summer. But the further north we got, the more green it got, and the colder it got. It was like,
yeah,
bloody hell. There was literally about 15 degrees temperature difference between when I started and when I finished. Oh, Junie.
We have 3 years to work on Jason Momoa at the company of 50th celebrations. Yeah,
well, hello. Do you think? Yeah, maybe if he gets enough notice, you never know. Just make sure it's plenty of beer. You'll be all right. Is he still your latest crush? Is he your man crush?
Yeah. He moves his eyebrows. I know, like I say that to Ian and Nick and that, and they'll go, yeah, the way he moves his eyebrows, like, with his body and all that. I'm like, no, but honestly, he could have a dad bod; it wouldn't bother us. It's just the way, like, he can.
I think he's got a very kind face, and he's got a very cheeky face. He has a real twinkle in his eye. I think
that's the world and stuff. Like, I've got following him on Instagram and that.
Oh.
And Junie got me. I can't remember if it was my last birthday or the birthday before. Can't remember. My brain's that bad. She got me a full life-size Aquaman cut out.
Oh dear God!
Yeah.
Where's that hidden?
He sits in the passenger because I've got like a cubbyhole bit as you come in the front door, and the amount of people who like end up shocked is quite funny.
So he's life size, is he? He's about 6 foot.
Life size, yeah. So the get gone. I got a right shock at that, and I'm like laughing me off from here. It's Junie's fault, But
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
I seem to remember you having getting that. Yeah, being most pleased because that was in his Aquaman kind of
Yeah.
appearance, isn't it? Mm.
I get that room sorted out over there in the other, what was Laura's bedroom, and redo it all out and that, and then stick him in there.
Well,
Maybe that
yes,
little
let him have a
door.
bedroom of his own anyway. More civilized than the cubbyhole, I think.
Yeah, no, stick him by the window, so just in case.
Or just
Anyway,
peering out like that. Hello.
yeah. I know you look like I've like kidnapped him or something, wouldn't
Help.
he? Yeah, yeah. But
Oh, brilliant.
yeah, I also got pictures of Cliff Richard and stuff from it.
Cliff Richard?
Well, I don't like Cliff Richard. I have a dislike of Cliff Richard, but Ian thought it would be nice to send me Cliff Richard stuff.
Ah, joke. Yeah. But you've got them up on the wall. That's
No, they're not up on the
thank
wall.
goodness. That would be creepy.
They're hidden somewhere.
Tucked in a drawer. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
Well, it all
but
makes it
yeah,
awesome, doesn't it?
it's a shame that like holidays and things are not more simplified. Like for and
Yeah.
like Junie says, even if it says it's accessible, it doesn't necessarily mean it's accessible to you and your needs exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. The
As you
planning would be
said,
extraordinary.
yeah,
Mm.
as you said, it's uh just means it's on the ground floor, like
Yeah.
and
I've
that
seen them
doesn't
say that.
mean
Yeah.
nothing. There's one of the charity shops in our city centre. They've got double doors, so I could go in, and it's the layout inside is fine. I could get in it, but the door's been broke. One of the doors have been broke for ages, and
Oh,
I'm like, I should complain, but I haven't because I know they're a charity, and obviously, it's probably not a priority and whatever. But it's just frustrating because it's
oh,
like, yeah, and some of the stores, even like yours and stuff, it's so packed inside. Like our one, I mean,
yeah.
I'm not
They,
saying
they,
that. Yeah, they've so packed it inside that there's just no way I could go around in my. Because I would like to go and have a look in the shop for some, you know what I mean, like
well,
itself.
yeah.
But it's so packed inside that there's just no way that I could go.
Mm.
And it's just
All of our shops are quite small. I think in America, because land is cheaper, they seem to have. You look at their you see people's videos of their charity shop thing, and they have these vast warehouses and
yeah.
huge aisles, and it's like, yeah, they seem more geared,
Yeah,
just to letting people have some space.
we have one of those like big warehouse cancer research places.
All right.
But where it is, it's just not. It's like the other side of the water to me, and then it's down a bank.
Now we
Down the
know
bank,
about the bitch and bankies.
yeah. Down the bank, fine. Coming back up the bank,
Mm.
not sure I'll get back out of it because it's quite steep. So, yeah, it it's just.
But
It's just
again, they should build in accessibility, shouldn't they? That should be a requirement.
well, the only places that are required by law are public buildings, so hospitals, council properties, like even like the likes of Tesco and things like that, they're not required by law, um, but they do
Yeah.
cater for everybody. You know what I mean? Apart from the pushy trolley things that I can use sitting in my wheelchair, I can't use because they clip on. They're supposed to clip on, but mine wouldn't clip on because the way the leg the like feet part of mine is different.
Oh, I
So
see. So they're talking about a standard kind of arrangement
yeah, it's,
rather
it's
than
again
anything
it's a
tailored.
standard one. But when I go in the supermarket, I just get a basket,
Yeah,
plonk it
just
on,
put it
plonk it
on.
on my knee, yeah, and keep hold of
Yeah.
it with one hand, and then control the wheelchair with the other.
Yes, I can imagine the potential for
Yeah,
for accident is quite high when you're doing that. But yeah, at least you can get in there and
yeah,
choose what you want.
yeah. And I mean,
Mm.
sometimes if I tend to try and stick to just buying things I can reach because it makes us feel less like enabled, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I find whenever I go to the supermarket, because we've got an Aldi literally over the back of us, which is a bit too close for comfort, but the shelves are quite high up, and I always find that whenever I'm in there, because I am fairly tall, I'm always getting stuff down for people.
Somebody,
I don't mind. It's like, oh well, at least I'm being useful.
Well,
You get these little ladies, you know, with like tiny, delicate things, and they haven't got a prayer of reaching like the olives on 4 shelves up. And I'm like, and you see someone sort of looking, think, would you? Can I help? Would you like me to get anything for you? It's like, well, why not, really? You know. Oh, hello, Julie B.
Hi, Julie.
Cleaning the floors. We could use you around here.
Yeah.
Just housework, not really my bag. Oh dear. Yes. Well, in fact, we've had new flooring put down here, or the ground floor, because it was old floorboards, which I love, but they're so drafty that because obviously, as we all know, energy prices are going through the roof, and I'm in an old house, which is not the most heat efficient. So we've put this sort of flooring down on top so that the drafts don't come through, and it makes quite a difference, actually.
Yeah.
Should save us some money come winter, but it does mean that half my house, I've got all the stuff from downstairs literally lined up along the hallway up here, and things are all in the wrong place, and it's not finished yet, so a bit frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine. But it's meant to rain here tomorrow, so I won't be going anywhere. But yeah, from Thursday it's supposed to be nice, like about 18 up here, so probably be about 22 down south. Like if we're getting about 18,
it does seem to work that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So yeah, well, I think it's about 10 days of nice weather ahead. Supposedly.
Well, I need it to be nice Saturday and Sunday, because Saturday I'm doing some drumming at the Caterham fair thing, so performing with other people, hilarious. And Sunday, like I say, I'm doing a boot fair and taking my friend Anne up to the Hot Farm boot fair. So I need decent weather, because it's no fun if it's windy and icky and nasty.
So plan is dependent with other things to go. I might go at the beach actually, because if I go at the beach Thursday, I was going to go at the park, but I might go at the beach Thursday because I reckon the beach will be packed at the weekend.
Oh God, yes, especially if the weather's nice.
Because we've got good weather. So yeah, I think I might go at the beach and do that.
You're right. It's supposed to be about 21 degrees down here, so it wasn't quite 22.
Yeah, like our 18. I figured it'd be better because it tends to be. Are you more inland? Are you close to a beach, or are you more inland?
No, we're fairly inland. You know, Kent's sort of that bit that sticks out at the bottom.
Yeah,
like that. It's a very big county, and we're literally bang in the middle. So, but we're only about 40 minutes away, I would say, from Hastings, which is our nearest beach. You know, 1066 and that jazz. And probably about an hour or so away from Margate, if we didn't have that lorry park situation, which probably means it takes a lot longer. So yeah, about an hour away from Margate and Whitspur and all that.
Yeah. I went to Canterbury as well when I was there.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, again, that's slightly over the other side of. You see, I mean, I'm in Kent technically, but I'm on the border with West Sussex and Surrey, so yeah, we're kind of more in. But yeah, Canterbury's a nice place. It's they're historic sort of places we all got taken when we were at school. You know, school trips.
Yeah.
To Canterbury Cathedral. Okay.
I never went in, I just went round.
I went in and got very spooked. I found it a very uncomfortable experience. Not because I wasn't a witch, no, knowingly a witch
Yeah.
at the time, but it was very creepy because there's a lot of nastiness was on.
I think you can just get bad vibes, though, can't you?
Oh yeah. My when I was very well, when I say I was very small, sort of like about 5, 6, 7, 8, that kind of age, my mum actually used to take in, was dealing with foreign students and stuff, the exchange kind of thing that they have.
Yeah.
So we'd get the one in charge would come and stay at our house, and then we'd get to go on all their trips, do all the tourist thing. And we went to the Tower of London. I really didn't enjoy that.
No,
I had nightmares for weeks after that. Oh, all the J's in the chat. Hello, Fauna. And you can see the sea from your chicken, from your kitchen even.
Your chicken. That would be a bit weird.
Bok, bok. So along Belfast. So, all right.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we used to live like right where the port was, so I could I could see the sea and obviously the port with where the ships used to come in when I was a kid.
Oh.
I mean, I'm only a few minutes by car away from there now, to be fair.
Yeah.
But obviously it takes a bit longer in the wheelchair, and I go certain ways because I find it easier. I don't like going along main roadways because it's really loud and noisy, and it's like quite the traffic sort of.
I can imagine it's no pleasure ride if you've like got traffic kind of coming along at speed.
But the thing is like, you're just as sort of vulnerable on your feet as you are in a wheelchair, essentially.
Oh, yes.
Next to traffic like that. But I never felt it before, like I do now. I mean, I don't now on routes that I do all the time. So and I suppose once you get used to it, it's a massive change, massive difference. So yeah.
Yeah, you're more aware of it. I think if it's somewhere new. It's like when you first go somewhere new and you're walking, everything seems so far because you don't know where you are. You haven't got a map in your head of where you are.
Yeah.
Once you get to know it a little bit, it's like, oh yeah, I know this bit. I've been down here, and it's not that far. That kind of thing. And Jewelry Cells has her kitchen upstairs, an upside downy house.
Oh yeah, one of
I love those. I used to live in one of those for a while. Yeah, it's good fun. Going downstairs to bed.
Hi Sylvia. Hi Chrissy.
Oh, hi Chrissy.
We get around. Why do we get around? Do we?
Well, I'm always off somewhere. I mean, thank goodness. I can take my home with me.
Yeah.
Like a snail. Take the little house with me.
Yeah, so is your camper van up and running now?
Oh yeah, it's fine. I need to have some electrics sorted out, but it's perfectly usable as is.
Yeah.
It's got a bed. That's all I need. A bed and some comfort. Yeah.
Yep. Sounds like a plan. It's good.
Yeah, it would be nice if I had the fridge running and things like that, but I need to talk to Chivy, the chap along who said he was going to do it, to actually book it in and do it, because I need the car on a day-to-day basis, so I can't just say, oh, well, you can have it for a week and do it in your own time. It's like, you could have it Monday afternoon or maybe Thursday morning, but
yeah, I need to.
I've got a business to run and a life to live, and I can't manage without my wheels.
Yeah.
Oh, Julie says, I just live in an old house and I feel like I'm always cleaning it. I just live in an old house and I don't. Well, I don't clean it. I mean, I've got a few cobwebs and things. I haven't got time, and I suppose it's not top of my priority. I'm not. Yeah. Dust is my friend.
I had a spider the other day. It came. It was on me about 4 or 5 times on my bed, and despite the fact that I moved it onto the floor, it just kept coming back.
It liked you.
It must have.
Yeah, I'm not that relaxed around spiders at that close proximity.
To be honest, I've never been, but I don't know. Like weirdly with the photography, it's made us a lot more relaxed around a lot more things. Like I'm quite close to bees and wasps, and they just get on with stuff. They're not really bothered as long as you're not bothering them.
That's usually the case. I do love a bee. I do.
Mm.
I love bees very much. Very fond of them. But those big buzzy bumbles with the furry backsides, hilarious. And they're really enjoying. My garden at the moment is incredibly overgrown. Partly because I haven't had time to do a great deal to it, and partly because I quite like nature to do its thing. It's absolutely ramming full of forget-me-nots, which are just about going over. And I've got peonies that have come out, but they last about 5 minutes, and then they just, they just kind of give up. But they're big, lousy flowers, and they're just fantastic. And foxgloves as well, and they're the ones where you see the little bees behind, just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Out the back.
Yeah, I took quite a few photos today, and I got some bees, and there was foxglove. There was quite a lot of roses around as well. Some really nice like colours in the roses as well. So yeah, and the starlings were about.
Yes, we've got the crows that are down at where I've got my garages that I rent. There's a whole colony of crows that live down there, and I'm always say hello to them. And they've been giving me their feathers lately. They've been dropping all their feathers, and I'm collecting enough of them because I think I'll be able to make a sort of not a cape thing with them, but I'll be able to make a sort of put them onto a band and make a kind of headdress or something with them. I don't know. I want to use them because they've gifted them to me. You see.
Definitely. I've got Clive, the crow that he's got a nest up there. He's got a missus. I don't know what. She never comes down, but Mrs. Clive, yeah, she never comes down, but he does. He makes me laugh actually. So he chases the little birds quite often and the pigeons and whatnot. And then the worst thing is he unhooks my bird feeders or nicks off with whatever's on the bird feeders. But he never eats the food. So he'll unhook it and put it on the floor, but he never eats it.
Maybe he just considers it sport.
I think he does because his face is just a picture. I just love it.
Oh, you'd love to get pictures of him doing that. That'd be so cute.
I got a video of him nicking it, and I put it up on my Facebook, YouTube.
I must have missed
that. I've got pictures of him where he's got wet. He looks sort of fluffy, and he always just looks like he's about to do something naughty. He just does. I just love his little face.
Mischievous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He was chasing the little birds earlier. Then he sits on my fence looking all proud as punch, like, yeah, I just got rid of all the little birds. He was fighting the seagull and all before that. But he's got a nest here, so he was chasing it.
Well, yeah, because they're big brutes, aren't they? Seagulls.
Yeah.
Oh, Julie says she's got a spider in the bathroom the cats won't touch, but you'll have to move it in a minute. Oh, right, yeah. Predictive taste is wonderful, isn't it? And you're going to mop the floor. You have no life. Julie B, go and get one. And have a cup of tea, says Junie. I love all this banter that goes on. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And, there we go. Yeah.
She went to, I think she said she went to Durham. It's lovely in Durham. Really nice.
I don't think I've been to Durham. I don't think I've had the pleasure.
Quite nice. And my daughter went to Alnwick. It's really nice in Alnwick as well.
I don't know that part of the world at all. I'd love to explore it someday. I know I've got Whitby in my sights. I'd like to go to Whitby.
Yeah, Whitby's lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. And Scarborough.
Yes, I've never been to Scarborough either. Maybe I have to take a road trip someday. On the way up to you.
You're on the way here. So, you know.
Yeah, I need about a week. Get up there and come back down again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we've got relatives in York. I've been to York. But, yeah, it's sort of on the way, isn't it?
It is. But Whitby is beautiful. It's just picturesque, like really picturesque.
Mm.
Alnwick is, Durham is, like the main city part of Durham. Cathedrals. I've been right up the top of the cathedral. When I was a kid, I couldn't do it now because I think I'd freak out at the height. I think that's where my height issue, because I started getting issues around height, like sort of dizziness, because there's 300 odd steps in it, spirals
Oh,
all
so
the
you'll be
way
out
up.
tough.
So when I was about, I think I went up when I was about 12, something like that. With and my mum couldn't do it. She had to go back. She couldn't do it. Uh, but yeah, be nice,
It's
nice to.
gonna take it out of you, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, has people been to Whitby? Yes. Hardly. Yeah, it can get very busy there. I think I'd have to time it when everyone else isn't there, if you know what I mean. When it
yeah,
hasn't got some massive, great steampunk goth event on, which I would also love, but
yeah,
fit right in. Mm,
yeah. They do that, don't they? That steampunk goth event every so often.
yeah, I do quite like all that sort of thing, but I mean, that's more of a sort of fashion dress up thing, and it's not. Yeah, I'm a bit lazy in that area, really.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah. And Whitby's lovely, but the walk up to the ruins is steep. That I'm sure it is. I mean, that's one thing I found out when I was in Brussels, is that it's very hilly. The whole of the rest of the countryside is flat as a bloody pancake. You get into the city and it's hill upon hill upon hill. And luckily I'm pretty good at walking, but my poor husband and son were feeling the stress. I think they came home a lot fitter than they went. Yes, you have to go early to park. Well, this is the thing. Maybe I'll have to engineer some sort of a road trip in there. Got to do it sometime. Preferably not
yeah,
have to wait 2 years to do it.
yeah. And do it when like the kids are still at school, so that way it'll be less busy because
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, school holidays are not the time to be going.
Yeah. Yeah, cathedral is beautiful.
Mm, mm. I'll have to look it all up on a map and try and work a route, see if I can come up the.
Well, it's part of the. There's a castle there as well, which is part of the university now.
Oh, right.
But that's pretty cool to look at as well. I forgot what it's called. My brain's just gone blank.
I'm pretty sure Durham University is one of the ones I was trying to get into many years ago. It was
Yeah,
on my list, but I ended up at Leeds, and that was quite a long way. That was far enough away from home,
yeah.
although further the better as
It's
far as I
also
was
like
concerned.
the oldest sort of bridge thing, the stone bridge that's there is really old, where the River Weir goes through. So yeah, it's just there's a nice. It's all hills and cobbles and stuff like that. Not great for wheelchairs, like. But
Gosh, no, I can imagine it's a bumpy ride. Camper hop on route. Yeah, I'll have to plan a little route.
Do one of them. What is it like? Oh man, is it Cannonball Run where they're all like, like they all go off in one direction?
That'd be hilarious because my camper van isn't particularly speedy. She's very
Yeah.
reliable, but she's not very fast. The poor old bee.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not about speed, is it?
No, it certainly isn't in her. I do like fast cars. Don't get me wrong, given the chance, but that's not what she's about. She's happy at a steady 60 along the motorway, and she'll pootle along for hours like that.
Yeah.
Now you're talking restaurants, food and drink. That's where I'm most happy, when I'm eating and drinking. Yeah. Lebanese. That's probably a bit. Yeah, I can imagine that sort of food is really rather lovely. So I'm running a bus now, am I? I'm like the National Express. We'll swing by. That would take some planning, wouldn't it? If I did it, if I did a bee road trip and tried to meet up with people on the way, that would be quite fun.
Yeah,
Actually,
but it would be good. Yeah.
yeah. It probably won't happen this year because I'm too bloody busy. But maybe next year I can sort myself out,
Sort it out. Yeah.
get a bit less busy, I can sort my life out, make some time. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Because everybody won't be getting married next year. You know, it'll have eased off a bit. People will be.
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
won't
My
be
brother's
looking
done
at
3
friends.
weddings this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sometimes does photography
Ah.
for like people.
Runs in the family then.
Yeah. Well, my granddad was a photographer. But he used to take, back in the day when they took people on the beach, and they had the thing over, and
Oh
then
yeah.
the take. Yeah, he was back in that day, and we've got photos where he's like took black and white pictures and added colour to them. So like,
Oh, they kind of hand them, don't they?
yeah, I made my nana like my mum's dress red or whatever it was, my nana's hat or flower or something, and yeah, be cool.
I like that. I can swap out my travel companions if some end up left in a lay-by. Well, more's the fun. Yeah, and Junie, I can meet somewhere between Scotland, somewhere over the border.
Over the border.
Yeah, yeah.
Julie's been down to mine, so is Sylvia. Um,
Yeah.
and I was like trying to give points for places for Julie to visit. So I think she saw Tommy, the um, pirate. It's not a pirate.
I was going to say, I don't think I've heard
Private.
of Pirate.
The World War One private. They
Oh.
were the nickname Tommy, I think they were.
Mm.
So that statue she's been to see, and I think she went to Suit the Lighthouse, where I went along the coast road too. I can't remember what else I was telling her to go and do. I was like,
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Lots to see. I think if there's one thing that the sort of COVID business has done for people in this country is it has meant that people have explored this country more and appreciate it more.
yeah,
I
definitely.
think so. Yeah,
Definitely.
there's a lot to be said for that. There's many places like I say, I know I haven't explored the northeast hardly at all. It's one bit of the country I really haven't. So yeah, maybe I'll have to make a bit of an effort. I'm sure there's lots of history and lots of things I can look up and places I want to go and see, which may not be the tourist ones, but there'll be a lot of history of things like witchcraft and stuff. Because I did a big trip last year over a few days with my friend Becky, and we went to Essex and went to sort of Colchester and Malden and all the places where the witch trials and things went on, and followed a trail. It was quite amazing. So yeah, there's bound to be similar things to find up your way. Roker Beach, yeah, and the Glass Museum.
Yeah, Roker Beach is really nice. That's the one. I'm not sure of the bank on that one for me coming back up. Like the guy who does the wheelchair services, he was like, "It'll be fine. You'll be fine." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all right for you to say because you're not so clever if you're not fine. And the only way to know if you're going to be fine is to be halfway up it. And I don't really want to get stuck halfway up a bank. That potentially, it's the weirdness of it because you sort of at this odd angle that your body just doesn't get used to, no matter how many times I've done banks, like obviously smaller ones, but like these big banks, like
and it's not easy for you to shift your weight about either, so you can't sort of go, oh, I'm just going to lean forward. You're going to be limited in what you can do. So
and then obviously you kind of like also you rely on the airlocks on a wheelchair, and you kind of like if these airlocks went, I'm buggered because like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, in Mowbray Park, where we met some funny lady in a rainbow pitch.
Yeah, she gets about her like she does.
Oh, Well, yes, let's hope things get more accessible as time goes on. I think if people shout about it enough, then they're going to realise, they're going to think, well, all right, yeah, it's no good it being accessible for 80% of the people. Why can't, as near as darn it, 100% do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have come to an hour.
We are.
We've jabbered away for an entire hour and had some lovely company from all the J's and fauna.
Anyone watching who is not speaking.
Well, exactly, because there's always some people out there who are doing other things or just listening in the background. Hello to you too, and anyone who watches later, of course, on catch up, because then there's probably something very good on a Tuesday evening on television that I don't know about. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you very much to Lainie and to all our lovely peeps in the chat, and we will say ta-ta. And yes, you can come do my housework, Jilly, no problem. We will see you later. So awkward waving, Lainie, and
I'm live at 9 on my other channel for an hour.
Yes,
on my other channel. This is your channel, just on my channel.
See you later over at Lainie's. Bye now. Bye.